Corporate megastores are spending millions lobbying D.C. politicians on one-sided policies that send small businesses tumbling. They want to enact harmful credit card mandates that take resources away from your local credit union and community bank, leaving Main Street businesses with less access to credit, making it harder for your family to pay for everyday goods like gas and groceries. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
Always follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Big hour on tap. Glad you're on board. Bottom of the hour. Ira Kaufman covers the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, has for a long time. We'll talk about that team with him. Maybe get a bet or two from him on the season for the Buccaneers. Here, we begin talking a lot of college football, specifically previewing the SEC as professional sports bettor Paul Stone joins the program now. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X. He is at Paul Stone Sports. Good afternoon, buddy. How are you today?
Oh, man, just glad to be with you guys. And again, college football, that clock is just ticking down. We're going to have games in another 2.5 weeks. So exciting. Still preparation to be done, but looking forward to it.
Yep, same here. Okay, so let's begin with a win total. LSU set at 8.5 for that total. The juice is around minus 140 to the over, so some plus money on the under. Are you high on Brian Kelly's club this year?
I'll tell you, I'm bullish on the LSU Tigers, Mitch. This is a veteran team. They've got a veteran quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier. I think he's still maybe the second choice in the Heisman Trophy betting markets. But one thing I really like about the Tigers is in the offseason, I know some people have kind of anointed Texas Tech as the portal champions of the offseason. But for my money, it's LSU. They went out and really shored up some deficiencies, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They added two big-time defensive ends, especially Patrick Payton, who comes over from Florida State, really good edge rusher, and then Jack Pyburn, who comes over from Florida. Picked up some bodies in the secondary. I think their secondary will be a lot better. Last year they gave up a little over 24 points a game, 364 yards a game. I think both those numbers come down in the secondary. Picked up cornerback Mansour Delane, who comes over from Virginia Tech, a three-time All-CC second-team selection there. And then A.J. Halsey, who was a all-conference first-team Big 12 selection at the University of Houston last year. So I like this LSU team. Certainly when we're talking about a regular season win total, the schedule is of paramount importance. And LSU does not have an easy schedule. It's a schedule rated by Phil Steele to be the nation's sixth toughest. And I certainly think that is a valid ranking for that schedule. They start out, as we all know, as a 3.5, 4-point underdog at Clemson opening weekend. One of those games in that great opening slate of week one games on Saturday, August 30th. So they play at Clemson, play at Alabama, currently getting 5.5 at DraftKings, and then close the regular season pick'em game right now at Oklahoma, play Mississippi in a game that earlier they were getting 2.5 points. They're now favored by 2.5 there. So they have some losable games. But I like this LSU team, so I like them over 8.5 regular season wins. I think they win at least 9. And to the second part of it, picking LSU to make the 12-team college football playoff at plus 130. So I think it's really attractive to get plus money on the Bayou Bengals to make the playoffs. Of course, looking back at last year, the Big Ten had 4 teams in the 12-team playoff. The SEC only 3. I think that might be reversed this year. I think the SEC is going to get 4, with LSU certainly being one of those, and perhaps the Big Ten will only get 3. But many of the same points, I obviously made in my regular season win total recommendation. I just like this team. You've also on defense, I would be remiss if I didn't point out Harold Perkins Jr., guy who's kind of fought some injuries, especially last year. Hybrid guy. You can put him on the edge at defensive end. He can play linebacker. He can cover guys out of the backfield. If he's healthy, he's one of the better defensive players in all of college football. And then a name, I want people to think about this and put it back in their memory bank, and I'll be proven wrong if it doesn't turn out. But Kentucky's Berrien Brown, I think he's one of the most underrated transfers through the portal in the offseason. He's a wide receiver, but perhaps more importantly, the best kickoff returner in all of college football. And the people don't even hardly return kicks anymore. The previous 3 seasons at Kentucky, he returned 5 kickoffs for touchdowns. Might he have a big kickoff return for LSU in a big game this season? I like LSU to make the playoff at plus 130.
Excellent breakdown. Very good. Good thoughts there. Last year on the show, we went 4-0 previewing the SEC and made over 5 units as well. So you mentioned the big one, August 30th, LSU against Clemson. In the coaches poll, number 1 against number 2. It's Texas against Ohio State, August 30th. What do you think of Texas to win the SEC?
Yeah, last year at this same time, I went with Georgia at plus 200 to win the SEC, kind of went with the chalk, and going with the chalk again here at Texas plus 300. There at Circa, I believe, to win the SEC title. I hear some media types, and I'm not saying it's like they're making some kind of crazy talk, but some people are saying Texas has, some questions. And certainly every team in early August has some questions. That's a fair assessment. But I don't think they have as many questions as a lot of people think. The primary question they have is on offensive line. They're returning 1 returning starter. They're big-time offensive guard DJ Campbell. But they've got 2 guys who have started games. Last year, left tackle Trevor Gooseby, he started 2 games, if you'll recall, for injured Kelvin Banks. And then Cole Hudson, who'll be their starting center, he started a number of games too. So these guys are not playing for the first time. So they need to identify 2 offensive linemen. They need to get a few defensive tackles. You have got to have, about 6 defensive tackles in today's college football because they spread you out. These guys cannot run play after play. They've got to get a breather, the big guys. So they have really bolstered that position through the portal. I think they're going to be okay there. A lot of talk about Arch Manning. He's obviously set the last 2 years preparing for this moment. But I tell you, I think Arch is well seasoned. He's well marinated. I think he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the nation. It's fair to ask, though, is he being overhyped a little bit? Perhaps. But I think he will be quite all right there. Looking at one preseason magazine, and I'm not saying I totally agree with this. I don't. But one preseason magazine that's pretty prominent, they rank the national position units. Defensively, the top defensive line, they've got Texas number 1. The top linebacking core, they've got Texas number 1. The top secondary, they've got Texas number 1.
Oh, boy.
So they're really high on the Longhorns. I don't know if they've got the best defense at all 3 levels, but I think they probably have the top defense in all of college football. Colin Simmons, true sophomore defensive end, might be the best player in all of college football this year. He is a freak from Duncanville, Texas. Linebacker Anthony Hill at the next level. You can move him all over the place. He'll be more of a hybrid this year for the Longhorns. He'll be a Thursday night pick come this April. Really good in the secondary again. So I like this Texas team. I like them at plus 300 to win the SEC title. I think they're going to get it done in year 2 as a member of that conference.
Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, professional sports bettor Paul Stone. He is on X at Paul Stone Sports. He's on the Progressive Guest line. They play a game between the hedges in Georgia, November 15th. They're about a 2.5-point dog in that game. Is that a game of the year that you have circled? Is that a game of the year that you've already bet? Did you take the Longhorns plus the points?
Yes, I did. I like Texas in this game. Last summer on this broadcast, I took Georgia over Texas in Austin. So I'm going to do an about face here, and I'll take the underdog Longhorns plus 2.5 going between the hedges in November, as you mentioned. Naturally, there's some concern backing the Longhorns here against a Georgia team that defeated the Longhorns twice last year. And quite frankly, they did it in convincing fashion. They dominated Texas at the line of scrimmage. Of course, you look at rushing yardage and sacks are subtracting, they deduct from your rushing yardage in college football. But last year, Texas in those 2 games on 60 carries averaged 1.1 yard per carry. So they could not run the football when it was 3rd and 1, just like we kind of saw against Ohio State. They could not line up, and run the football against quality football teams. I think they're going to be better at that this year. And I don't think Georgia's quite as good on either the offensive line or the defensive line. When I say that talking about such a high standard because Georgia has kind of set the standard for the rest of college football the last several years. But I think they're a little bit down on both lines. They didn't have downfield receivers last year. They really missed a generational tight end in Brock Bowers. They missed, obviously, wide receiver Ladd McConkey, who was drastically underrated, in my opinion. And also this year, Georgia's got some questions at quarterback. And Gunnar Stockton, He came in, played late last year after Beck got hurt. And Stockton's a tough guy. He's a gritty, tough guy, kind of a man's man. But there's some questions about him in the passing game, especially with the lack of receivers that Georgia has. Last year, Georgia only averaged 124 yards per game rushing, just 4.1 yards per carry. That 4.1 yard per carry average, that was more than a full yard worse than any of the three previous seasons. So the three previous seasons, 5.2 yards per carry or better, only 4.1 yards per carry last year. I think Texas has got the better quarterback. They've got the better defense. They've really done well on the road under Sarkisian. Obviously, they went into Alabama in 2023 and won a football game, went into Michigan last year at the Big House, won a football game. I think they're going between the hedges this year and win another football game.
Very good. Yeah. So 4 bets so far. You have that one. Game of the year, Texas plus 2.5 over Georgia. Texas 3-1 to win the league. LSU over 8.5 wins minus 140, and LSU to make the playoffs at plus 130. There is one more win total bet that you have. You're going to hang around for another segment, though, Paul. We'll get to it then. And it's obviously a very intriguing conference yet again this year. Many other teams to talk about here, right? It's loaded up and down. Oklahoma, very popular this season. Paul, I know that you're high on them. Does Stone agree with the optimism there in Norman? How does he feel about South Carolina? What about Texas A&M? We'll continue talking SEC with professional sports bettor Paul Stone coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
DC politicians want to enact harmful credit card mandates that could take away your cash back and rewards points. Perks that stretch your budget and make life a little easier. Losing these benefits means less money for your family's everyday essentials like gas and groceries. The perks you rely on could disappear, leaving you with higher costs and fewer options. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue breaking down the SEC with Paul Stone, professional sports bettor. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. Again, you can always follow him on X. He's at Paul Stone Sports. Gave out 4 bets in the previous segment. If you're just tuning in, you can always go back and get all of his bets when you listen to the Follow the Money podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Here in this segment, one more win total. Kentucky's number is 4.5. What do you want to do with that?
Yeah, I'll tell you, before last year, Mitch, Kentucky had played in 8 straight bowl games, but last year they go 4-8, finishing just 1-7 in SEC play. 13th year head coach Mark Stoops, he is the winningest coach in Kentucky history, but I think it's safe to say that entering the 2025 season, he suddenly finds himself squarely on the hot seat, despite being the school's all-time winningest coach. Really, one of the biggest allies he might have going into the season is the fact it's reported he has a $40 million buyout, but that might not be enough if they finish below 500 for a second straight season. Unfortunately, I think they're going to, from Tennessee's perspective. I just don't see much reason for optimism. They opened the season at home against MAC favorite Toledo, currently around a 10-point favorite. Is Kentucky maybe 9.5 at some stores, depending on where you shop? Additionally, Kentucky's going to start the season with non-conference games against Eastern Michigan and FCS Tennessee Tech. So there's a pretty good chance that they're going to get off to a 3-0 start. But after that, they are likely going to be underdogs in their remaining 9 games. going to be getting double digits in the vast majority of those games. Obviously, the opener versus Toledo. I mean, Toledo last year put a beating on Mississippi State. Obviously, Mississippi State was down. But before that, a couple of years ago, I'm trying to think, they won a game maybe in 2023. I think they went into Illinois maybe and kept it close. Maybe they didn't win that one. But they have been good against some Power 4 top competition. So it's, it's very difficult for me to see, more than 4 wins perhaps for Kentucky. They just got an absolutely rugged SEC schedule. They get Ole Miss, Texas, Tennessee, and Florida at home. And then they play South Carolina, Georgia, Auburn, and Vanderbilt on the road. It is just really a tough draw. I think they're going to go under 4.5. So I like Kentucky to go under 4.5 regular season wins, -110 there at DraftKings.
Boy, look at that schedule.
That is brutal.
Oh, man, that is absolutely daunting. Where did you say Kentucky's schedule ranks in the country? Did you bring that part up? Their schedule overall?
I didn't bring that up, but I'm not sure. It's got to be top 10, top 5 probably. Yeah.
Sure. Other teams here to get your opinion on. Pauly here is high on Oklahoma. A bunch of other people are high on Oklahoma as well. The offense was unwatchable last year and completely killed any chance of a good season for that team. They play a brutal schedule this year as well. But what do you make overall of the Sooners team heading into the 2025 campaign?
I'm cautiously optimistic that Oklahoma is going to be better. And I mean, the quarterback position is always one that we're going to discuss because it's not only the most important position in football, it's probably the most important position in all of sport. And they bring in John Mateer, a guy from my home state of Texas, who played at Washington State last year, 3,139 yards passing, another 826 yards rushing. So a true dual threat quarterback. But Washington State, by some accounts, they played a schedule that was ranked less than 100th or worse than 100th in all of college football last year. So they played a pretty weak overall schedule. That's not what he's going to face in the SEC. He is going to have a better supporting cast, but I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Mateer plays for the Sooners against SEC competition. You mentioned that offense last year that was pretty putrid. They averaged only 16.5 points per game in SEC play one season ago. They also pick up Jaden Ott from Cal. He's had some injury problems, but when healthy, he's been really good, and I think he'll be one of the better running backs in the country if he is indeed healthy. Sooners have a very good defensive line. They do lose linebacker Danny Stutzman and safety Billy Bowman. Those guys kind of the heartbeat of that defense the last few years. Both were fourth-round draft picks in the NFL draft this past April. But I'm slightly optimistic on Oklahoma. Going to be interesting to see how they fare against that rugged schedule with a new quarterback in Mateer.
South Carolina was great and one of the hottest teams in the country down the stretch. Took out Clemson on the road. I would like to see what would have happened if they could have made the playoff. What do you think of South Carolina's chances this year?
I tell you, I like Shane Beamer as a head coach, and it's hard not to love Lenora Sellers as a quarterback. Big physical guy who can run the football, who can throw the football. He was a little bit raw, a little bit, people were kind of up in the air. They knew he was athletic, but he really did a great job last year for the Gamecocks. But with all that said, I think some people might be a little bit too high on South Carolina this year. And the reason, they are retooling at every level of defense. They had 5 players on defense selected in the first 4 rounds of the NFL draft. 5 players in the first 4 rounds. That's a lot of top shelf talent. They gave up an average of only 18.6 points per game last year, and that was more than a touchdown less than any of the previous 2 seasons. So I think they're going to regress to their mean of the previous 2 seasons a little bit. I'm sure they'll fill the gap somewhat. And they also, a big story to kind of watch is the eligibility of Utah State transfer Rashul Faison. Currently, the NCAA has not made a decision. I think they thought there at South Carolina they would get a decision maybe months ago, weeks ago at least, and they're still waiting. So this might be one of those things where it just kind of times out. and they never really make a decision, and he basically doesn't play this year. But their offense could certainly use him to replace Rocket Sanders and some of the other losses on offense as well to complement Lenora Sellers. But I'm a little bit bearish on South Carolina. I think they take a step back in 2025.
Here's a team in the conference, Paul, I think most of us expected to kind of take over once we learned that the transfer portal was going to be an annual thing and NIL, and you can spend as much money basically as you want because they have basically endless funds with Texas A&M, and we just thought the Aggies were going to be a perennial powerhouse here. Where are you at this year with that club overall? And their quarterback last year, obviously Marcel Reed, showed had a lot of pretty solid highlights overall to make you think, my God, he's going to be really, really good, and maybe A&M could be a big factor this season.
I'll tell you, I always am going to leave the door open to kind of change my assessment of teams. Back in the spring when I was, February, March, when I'm doing my early preparation, I was down on A&M and actually bet them to go under 8.5 wins. But as the season's progressed, I'm kind of coming around a little bit to the thought that Texas A&M might be a little bit better than I initially had them pegged. You talk about Marcel Reed from the Nashville, Tennessee area. Actually played high school football, I believe, with one of Herb Street's sons there. But he's a guy who's very athletic. If you guys remember that LSU game last year, they fell behind. Wigman was struggling at quarterback. They put Marcel Reed in, and he did it mostly with his legs. But he energized that A&M offense, led them to a come-from-behind victory over LSU. And, obviously he needs polish in the passing game. If he should be better, you would think, in year 2 than year 1 in the passing game. So if he can develop somewhat as a passer, they have got an outstanding offensive line, one of the nation's very best. And they've definitely got one of the best running back rooms in all of college football as well. Le'Veon Moss is a guy I think who's underrated by most. Kind of struggled with injuries a little bit last year, but still 765 yards and over 6 yards per carry, 6.3 yards per carry. That's pretty good against mostly an SEC schedule. Then they've got a guy, Amari Daniels, who would start at many schools. And then Reuben Owens, a guy out of El Campo, Texas, who's struggled with injuries, never really got his career off the ground to this point. But they've got, again, one of the better running back rooms in all of college football. And then through the portal, they pick up Casey Concepcion from NC State, guy who's kind of a Swiss Army knife. Wasn't really as productive statistically last year as he was in 2023, but with the Wolfpack 2 years ago, rushed for 320 yards. So in addition to his pass-catching abilities, he's also made an impact in the running game. Defensive line, they did lose 3 guys, defensive line that were drafted in the first 2 rounds of this past April's NFL draft, but those guys were kind of didn't quite live up to their expectations at the collegiate level, in my opinion. So I think they'll be all right there. I think Texas A&M, if you want to pick a surprise in the SEC to make the college football playoff, it might be the Aggies.
Very good. Hey, that was a dynamite 25 minutes of talk here in the SEC. We appreciate that. And we'll talk soon. Okay, pal?
Hey, appreciate you guys having me on each week. Y'all have a great weekend.
There you go. Follow him on X at Paul Stone Sports. He was on the Progressive guest line.
All right, it's tonight. Circa Survivor, the quest for $14 million, makes its debut right here on VSiN. 10-part doc on the world's largest legal football contest. Follows contestants as they chase the $14 million prize. Episodes start tonight through Saturday. Resume August 12th through the 16th. Episode 1 tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern on VSiN. VSiN.com/survivor.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board. We're live in Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. More NFL here. We'll talk Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One of our favorite guests throughout the football season, going back many years, Ira Kaufman joins the program. JoeBucksFan.com. Follow him on X at iKaufman76. Good afternoon, Ira. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Hey, guys, the Bucs are going for one for the thumb. 5 straight division titles. And, guys, I don't care how bad the NFC South is. 5 straight division titles is something to be proud of if they can pull it off.
Yeah, I would say, do they get it? Their win total is 9.5. The next closest in the division, Atlanta, is 7.5. The Buccaneers are about a minus 110 chalk here to win the division. Would you bet them if you didn't cover them?
I would. I got them at 11-6, and that was before the Wirfs injury. Maybe it cost them a game. I still think they can go 2-2 if he does miss the 4 weeks, and I'm not sure he will. He's doing everything possible to get back, but they're not going to rush him. So, if they go 0-2, you might see him in week 3. I'm not convinced he's going on the PUP list. I'm not convinced.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just assumed that was going to happen. I know that came out, I think, either yesterday or over the weekend. Let me throw some numbers at you. At Pro Football Focus, Ira, they have him as the 9th best overall tackle in football. He was number 1 per their numbers in pass blocking last year, graded out at 94.1. The next closest tackle graded out at 90.8, so there was a huge separation there. Let's assume for a second that he does miss their first 4 games at Atlanta, at Houston, the Jets, and the Eagles at home. How much do you think they're going to miss him?
I think the Houston game is problematic with Charlie Heck at left tackle because I think the strength of the Texans is their pass rush, and it's darn good. And, of course, Philly brings the heat. I still think, game 1 is important. Game 1 is very important for this franchise. They were swept by Atlanta last year. That's something that drives Todd Bowles nuts at night. Kirk Cousins had a field day twice against the Buck pass defense. Of course, they've switched to Michael Penix now, but Atlanta's got they got a nice balanced offense, Atlanta. No question about it. So do the Bucks. Atlanta can score on anybody. And the Bucks got a lot of strides to make up on defense. Let's see if they can do it. I think a healthy Winfield at safety could really make a big difference for Tampa Bay.
I think they win the division. You mentioned 11 wins. Can you get crazy? Can you say 12, 13 wins in the 1 seed?
With that schedule, it's hard for me to do it. It's hard. But the closing schedule is really easy, just like it was last year. I looked ahead last year at midseason. I said, gee, I think they can go 5-1 down the stretch. They did. I look at it this year. I think they can do it again. So, look, they start pretty well. Bowles, he's been 3-1 each of the last 2 years. They win their openers. The Wirfs injury hurts. There's no question. He's an elite pass blocker. I think he's probably the best in the business. I don't need Pro Football Focus to tell me that. I see him every week. Mm-hmm. When he does get beat for a sack, I mean, the jaws drop in the press box. I drop my pretzel right out of my mouth. I can't. Now, he's not a great road grader. He's a good run blocker, not elite. But his strength is certainly, pass protection. And Gedeke on the right side is like a notch below him. They've got 2 really strong tackles there.
How's the rapport with the new OC taking over? And Cohen did an excellent job, obviously, as he takes the Jacksonville gig. How's that working out with the chemistry and now the new OC?
That is the big question in Tampa. Guys, you look at the talent, the skill on the offensive side of the ball. Last year, the Bucs were the only team to finish top 5 rushing and receiving. They averaged 29.5 points a game. Cohen did a masterful job. Masterful. You start with the guy who I think makes it all happen now is Bucky Irving. I mean, he's sensational. Mm-hmm. The guy averaged 5.4 yards a carry. He caught 47 out of 52 pass attempts thrown his way, 1,500 yards from scrimmage, and he didn't even play that much in the first half of the year. Look, I know they don't want to put too much on his shoulder, but when you got a talent like that, I'm giving him the ball as much as I can. The receiving class, I think, arguably the best in football. Evans is a Hall of Famer. I'd be glad to make the speech for him. He's got to be retired 5 years. I don't know if I'll still be doing this, guys. Godwin may not be back for week 1, but he'll be back maybe after a month. McMillan came on very strong last year. Jalen McMillan, after kind of sleepwalking through the first half of the year. Yeah. And now they got Ed Buka out of Ohio State, who looks tremendous in camp. He looks like another Chris Godwin. And the offensive line is really good. Really good. And then you got Mayfield. I mean, coming off a 41-touchdown season, he's in his prime at the age of 30. He gives the Bucs a big advantage over the other three teams in the division under center. A big, big advantage.
Okay, so I love what you're saying. Here are a couple of bets that I made going back throughout the summertime, Ira. Bucky Irving, look, I don't expect, these are long shot bets. They're tough to cash. Certainly cashing both would take a ton here. But I took two guys off this team because of everything we've talked about. Maybe an angle here to win 12, 13 games offense, a lot of points. I took Bucky Irving, 67-1 to be the offensive player of the year. And I took Ibuka as well at, I think it was 50-1 to win rookie of the year. What are your thoughts on both those bets?
Ibuka should not be 50-1. Absolutely should not be 50-1. I mean, we don't know about Godwin. This guy could see a lot of footballs. I mean, Evans is the guy that draws the double teams. And until Ibuka, proves himself on the pro level, nobody's double teaming him. He's really smooth, really good hands, a little faster than people think. I love that 50-1 pick. The only thing I'm arguing against Bucky Irving for MVP is it almost always goes to a quarterback.
Oh, it was offensive player of the year.
Oh, offensive player. You know what? That's not a bad bet. I think he can approach 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Not 2,000 yards rushing, 2,000 yards from scrimmage. The guy is a rare talent. I think he's kind of like a notch below Jamar Gibbs. That's high praise. But he makes people miss, and he rips off 30 and 40-yard runs and 30-yard screen passes quite often. I think he's the guy that makes this offense go, and if Grizzard is as smart as I think he is, he's going to get the ball into Irving's hands.
Yeah, very good. 2 minutes left here, Ira. Some people are high on Carolina. Their win total is 6.5. The way they close the season this year, they think they're going to be a factor. They have a very easy schedule overall. Nobody is high on New Orleans. Their expectations are maybe the worst team in football. Do you kind of agree with both those narratives?
I think Canales did a nice job in Charlotte last year. Nice job. The benching of Bryce Young turned out to be a smart decision. The last 3 games, Young threw 7 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions. That gives you some confidence going forward. The McMillan kid, if he pans out, he needs a number 1 receiver. Adam Thielen can't be your best receiver. He's got to be your second or third. And he doesn't have many years left. The problem with the Panthers is their defense. It was clearly the worst defense in football. Part of that is Derek Brown played 1 game. I mean, I think he's their best defensive player. He's a disruptive defensive tackle. He played 1 game last year. It really hurt them. Can they go up to 6.5? I think they can. I think they can go to 6 or 7. That's not a bad bet. I think the Saints are possibly the worst team in football, and Atlanta, to me, kind of looks like maybe a 9 or 10 win team. I think 9.
Very good. Very good. One more. Todd Bowles, Coach of the Year, 40-1.
Might be a stretch, boys. Might be a stretch.
Okay.
I know you guys are a long way from Tampa, but I got to tell you, listening to Buck fans and Buck Nation, they haven't embraced Bowles yet. They haven't.
Okay.
They nitpick him. They think he's too stoic on the sidelines. He makes some poor decisions. They think he's too conservative. But he's gone from 8 wins to 9 wins to 10 wins. If he does it again and goes to 11, wins another division, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to say they could do better.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
You can follow Ira on X. He is at iKaufman76, covers the Buccaneers for JoeBucksFan.com. Love talking to you, Ira. Thanks for the time today.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
And he made the appearance here on the Progressive Guest Line.
He's right. That's a big game, week 1. Sure. Got swept last year.
Sure it is, yeah.
Cousins did whatever they wanted, ate them up through the air. That's a good test and a good game on the week 1 slate. They go on the road.
Also closed there by being kind of high in Atlanta. I get that.
Yeah,
Steam here on their win total over 7.5.
Yeah. The anti-New Orleans continues.
Hey, what I expect the Buccaneers to win the division and be a factor in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Throw a scare into who knows how many teams.
Yep.
In-pocket plays coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
DC politicians want to enact harmful credit card mandates that could take away your cash back and rewards points. Perks that stretch your budget and make life a little easier. Losing these benefits means less money for your family's everyday essentials like gas and groceries. The perks you rely on could disappear, leaving you with higher costs and fewer options. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
The guy has an algorithm to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day.
No way.
I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
Tough one last night. Brewers team total over 3.5. A 3-spot off Fetty in the fourth, and that was it. They win the game, but they finished with 3 runs. 3 in the top of the fourth. Come on, man.
I know.
Come on. Tough. It's a racket.
Trust me, I was sweating out the entire thing. I'm like, you can't get to this guy at all.
I know.
Fetty's mowing you down right away to begin the game.
Yeah.
They had some opportunities early.
So
couldn't capitalize. And leadoff home run for the Braves. I'm like, oh, good Lord.
But they keep winning. And this has been a hell of a road trip. And I trust their offense. I mentioned earlier, Joe Osborne from Covers likes team total over 4.5. I think the Brewers win the game. This Atlanta price. Think about how bad the Rockies are. Atlanta's right there with them for worst ROI on the year. But the price on the Braves every game, it's like they're not good.
Yeah.
And I think I'm fine with the offense tonight. And Freddie, a good price. Freddie Freeman as well. Peralta and Freeman. He is locked in on a nice run, and he's hitting .450 career against Michaelis. However you want to play it, I'll go total bases. You go 2 plus money at DraftKings. You can go hits, runs, RBIs, or however you want to play it. But I think I'll go Freddie with 2 total bases. And Collier's out, the MVP for the Lynx. Seattle's laying 2 at home tonight. I don't like the spot. I don't like that, certainly the best players out. 4 of their 5 losses have been on the road. One of them, they were a 12-point favorite against Chicago and lost. They got that big win against the Liberty at home, revenge from last year, and then just played an all-time game, I think in the biggest rout in history. Beat the Aces out here in a game like 111-50 or something.
Yep.
I think Seattle beats the Lynx tonight. Seattle money line at home. Your big one at 7 o'clock Pacific.
All right, best of luck. I was on the Brewers last night, so eventually they did win that game. Minus 128 was the number right before opening pitch, basically at the end of our show. As for tonight's plays, I'm on 1. The game, actually, I brought this up earlier on the air. The Ballpark Pal feature on VSiN.com. Very high on Luis Severino. This game's underway already. You might be able to still get involved because he hasn't pitched yet. But Severino over 4.5 Ks got as high as plus 125. That's my one bet. I did also grab a little bit of Zebby Matthews much earlier in the day. I don't remember if I said that on the air or off the air. But I can't have it. It's moved 60 cents or more already on his K prop today. And by the way, the Twins with a 3-spot in the first off Paddock.
Yeah, what happened?
And the Astros lead the Marlins and Cal Quantrill 2-0 already.
Altuve went deep. And someone went deep for the A's.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah, home run derby here already.
Gore's K prop was 6.5. Under was plus 115.
Yeah. Fireworks early. Love this. 5 starts, 3:40 Pacific, first pitch. The $500 trifecta from GBank, First Bet, and VSiN. All you need to do is open a GBank Visa signature credit card in the first 90 days, deposit, and play through $1,000 at First Bet to trigger the $500 try. You get $200 in cashback rewards on your GBank Visa signature credit card. First Bet will give you a $100 deposit match, and we complete it with a free 6-month VSiN Pro subscription. The $500 trifecta from GBank, First Bet, and VSiN. Head to VSiN.com/GBank. One-time promotion. Limited customers opening a new account. Response to this offer will not apply to request to convert existing accounts. Apply today. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, so I wanted to bring this up again today. We tried to do this earlier, like it was actually pre-summer. It goes all the way back to late March, early April. And we did one of them. It was on NFL Draft Night with Dr. John. He was in for the Dallas area, had a great night there. And we were putting together this promotion called Beyond the Booth, where if you're coming to Circa here, Stadium Swim, we'll hang out. You can go to the website. You're going to get a cabana, up to 14 people, with a private 65-inch TV inside there, VIP restroom as well. You're going to have a dedicated server. Per request, I don't know, you might get Sydney.
And Sean reached out and got Taryn.
You might get Taryn.
You got Taryn.
Sure, and worth the price of admission alone to have either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we did that. We hung out all night. We were drinking with Dr. John, shot the breeze the entire time. There was I don't know what you want to say, Paul, there was a glitch maybe with the website because the response was overwhelming in the first 12 to 96 hours, but people couldn't book it because there was like a glitch on the site. So they couldn't lock it in. Well, here's the way around it because we have 2 coming up next week. We're doing this on Monday and Wednesday of next week, Beyond the Booth. So we're going to be hanging out at Stadium Swim from like right after the show till, who knows, whenever they kick us out of there. If you want to get involved with this, anytime, we're here. We live here. I'm not going anywhere. Paul's not going anywhere for the rest of the year. We love Stadium Swim. Here's what you can do. You can email the maestro. Mike Palm's going to take care of it. His email address is mike.palm@thed.com. mike.palm@thed.com. There was somebody trying to book it on the site. I happened to wake up to a tweet today, and I shot it over to Mike. I'm like, I think he's talking about Beyond the Booth. Can you help this guy out? Within 5 minutes, booked. No problem. 3 to 5 minutes, booked. Taken care of.
Yep.
No problem.
Yep. I wish that was the case when Jordan Scott was in town months ago. But we're ready to go, and it's going to be great. Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. It's going to be great.
Having a good time. Get the rent out there.
Get the, it's the best. Hot football, hang out, day baseball, watch NFL preseason, have your fantasy drafts out there.
That's another big one.
That's right. Get a group together. It's the best. And Mitch is right. It's a real deal with the owner's suite. When Nish and the guys had one last year, I put it up there on Instagram with Sydney as well, and that thing is phenomenal. Can't wait.
Paulie, how about
the
this?
place to be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going to hate myself for not betting the A's, aren't I?
Kurtz with another hit.
It's 3-0 A's.
Yeah.
Here's how it has gone so far for Mackenzie Gore. Leadoff home run, single by Kurtz, Rooker with a double, Blade with a single, 2 runs scored. So it's 3-0 Sacramento, top of the first, runner on first, nobody out.
Yeah.
Multiple ways to approach that game. It was the A's plus the money, or Gore maybe under 6.5 Ks. The guy has look at his numbers. We talked about that at least 2 or 3 times today on the show. He's not the same guy.
Yeah.
He's fallen off a cliff right in front of our eyes, man.
Fireworks early. Damn. A lot of runs.
See what happened in the Twins game. 2-run shot.
Yep.
Okay. So Paddock not doing well whatsoever.
I'm sure he pissed guys off, too. He took shots at the organization on the way out the door. The NFL news today, Sanders will start the preseason opener for the Browns. Carolina's up to 7 on Friday. Addison suspended the first 3 games for the Vikings. And Anthony Richardson will start the Colts preseason opener. Baltimore open a 1-point favorite. Colts are up to 5.5 at DraftKings. Richardson minus 260 to start week 1 for the Colts. Same price as Rattler. And Pete Carroll came out today and said the Raiders are playing the starters. They are now a good-sized favorite against Seattle. After McDonald also said we're not playing people.
So many line moves, man. And not a 1.5, 2 points here for the first games coming up in the preseason. We're talking about a good touchdown now. 6-point moves, 7 in the Carolina game.
5-0 A's.
It just keeps going. Was a two-run shot probably?
Oh, man.
How does this guy last? How? Yeah, 2-run shot.
How many hits is that now? Is every guy, does he have an out?
He has 1 out.
Oh, that's 5 hits?
5 hits, 1 out, 5-0 A's.
Wow.
What's the in-play here?
Get it for you.
Severino going to get rocked here? What's the total? What's the total, actually? It's
13.5.
13.5.
Yeah.
Is that a big enough adjustment?
$8 on the run line. Did you see what those prices were? Did you happen to see Friday? I couldn't find them. What were the Pirates? 16-10 in the 8th, 16-12 in the 9th. What were the Yankees?
9-0 in the first.
Yeah, that too. I would think it'd be, what's bigger, 9-0 in the first or 16-12 in the 9th? Or 16-10 in the 8th? I don't know.
Well, I got to tell you, 13.5 is the total here.
Yeah.
This reeks of positional player coming in and like 20 runs in the game, right?
Did you see that guy from the Blue Jays last week? He's throwing 36 miles an hour.
36 miles an hour,
He struck a guy out.
Should we put this in pocket? Should we go over 13.5?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can add that one. I'm going to bet over 13.5 in this game.
Yeah.
That the runs are going to continue, and this could turn in. Gore's going to come out, going to be a full bullpen game. Positional players might get involved.
Yeah.
Wow. Mackenzie Gore. Well, keep that in mind next time that he takes the mound, which is going to be 5 days from right now. Also, the college football betting guide dropped today. Go to vsin.com/subscribe. And 180-plus pages. The breakdowns and the analysis on the conferences by Burke, Humans, JVT, Wes, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, and the win totals that Steve Makinen gave out and analyzed. It's like 5 pages.
Yeah.
So, vsin.com/subscribe.
Right around the corner, August 23rd.
Yeah.
We go to Dublin. Iowa State, Kansas State. 5 games that day.
That's a really good game to begin the year, by the way.
Stanford, Hawaii is on CBS. The CBS at night.
Prime time next for 4 hours. Good luck with the bets tonight. We will see you.